Well, what I've found, I mean, is that basically what works is when people put their heart into what feels right to them. And that if you look at people who are really successful in the world,
Yeah.
and in fact they often say, you know, you must do what's in your heart, or a lot of successful people actually say that. That's about the kind of, not exactly the secret of their success, it's kind of really open. But people who are really successful, people who put their heart into what feels right and good to them, what gives them pleasure, and just totally being wholehearted about it.
That seems pretty simple.
Yeah, well, it's not quite as simple as, it is simple, it is very simple, but what goes wrong with it, because I work with gathering information from people's auras about their childhood and their background,
Yeah.
what seems to have gone wrong very often is that people have got the impression from their early childhood that the way to survive in the world is not to do what's in your heart, but to do what other people want of you.
Yes.
To gather, you know, what's required by the social circumstances or the culture or the kind of the family attitude, and that the child absorbs the teaching that in order to make its way in the world, survive, to earn a living, and so on, it has to do something according to what other people want, rather than according to what's in its heart. Quite often, when young children do what's in their heart, like, you know, they decide to make their mother a lovely cake with the contents of the cupboard under the sink, and they do what's in their heart, and they get a nasty shock because it's not appreciated. Or they say what's true, you know, what they feel. You know, I don't like Auntie Mary, she... whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes.
So very often they've also had experiences where they've actually just naturally come from their heart and expressed what was true.
Yes.
And they've had a very negative response, which has shocked them, which made them very wary of proceeding in that way.
Right. So they then continue that pattern in life, and
well, then it's like I see a lot of people who feel that it's not safe, or they're never going to make a living if they do what's in their own heart. That maybe they do what's in their heart for a hobby, and they have to make a living by going and doing. It's like a different approach. You look at, okay, who is willing to pay me? What can I do that they will pay me for? And I will go and do that, rather than what do I really want to do in my heart. I'm going to go and master the doing of that to the best of my ability and give my whole heart to it and trust that I will be able to earn my living by doing that.
Well, it's quite a big step to make, isn't it? For somebody to move, to shift from doing what they think is required to simply listening to what's in their heart and doing it, and knowing that it's all going to be all right.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, I would never expect anybody to make a jump like that, to kind of leap of faith. I mean, somebody could, obviously. But for one thing, you need to practice doing what's in your heart anyway. If you practiced all your life trying to find out what other people want of you and giving them that, it's not a simple matter to suddenly jump to saying, oh, right, I'm just going to do what's in my heart.
Well, yes.
Because you're not used to even listening to it.
No.
Because sometimes you need to take time.
Because although it's a simple solution,
it's actually that easy.
There's a different process that goes on, isn't
if you've had, especially if you've had shocks and training that you must do what other people want of you. And quite often people are told they're really selfish to do what they want. For example, it's a classic accusation that other people make. It's like, you know, unless you do what I want, you don't love me. You're really selfish. So it's also not just you won't make a living, but also if you want relationships with people, that you should be doing what they want or compromising with what they want, not listening to what's in your own heart and doing that.
Yeah.
So again, there are many things which people feel that, you know, like the more you sacrifice for someone, the greater your love is.
Yeah.
Whereas I would say that the more you offer someone something that you've done with your whole heart, the greater your love is. See, it's a different approach. But I wouldn't suggest, because I didn't do it myself, I didn't just jump. It's like how I go into cold water if I want to go swimming. I just kind of go in a little bit at a time.
Yes. No, that would be my approach to jump.
You jump?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Right, well, I kind of ease my way.
I get in, I think.
I ease my way in slowly and kind of get used to it. And so what I did was I did conventional medicine, which obviously I made a living with, although in those days it wasn't a very good one, because when you're junior doctors weren't very well paid. But and then I gradually started to introduce this other kind of work, which I always offered free to people. So would you like a flower remedy as well as the medicine? Yeah, and kind of talk to them a little bit about things. And then I set out and started to do that work more separately by itself. I didn't feel it was really right if I was employed by a health service to didn't feel respectful to introduce my own way of doing things into something that already has a setup.
Yes.
So the system required a certain kind of approach. So if I was doing the system, I would follow that approach, but I could give something else as well.
Right.
I wanted to do more of that. I did take myself out and start to do healing and other work outside.
So you made a sort of a gradual transition from doing conventional Western medicine in a conventional Western medicine environment.
Yeah.
So, a GP practice or a hospital or whatever, into doing a more holistic approach, which is looking at the whole person and using,
I got into
natural remedies,
in diet and herbs and so on to start with, but so I kind of just skated along kind of near the edge, because herbal medicines are pretty close to conventional medicine. A lot of conventional medicines are derived from them, and nutrition and everything is all part of it. So I kind of eased my way into that. But then I started to do more and more of my own work, what I do now, which is working directly with the aura and getting information totally about the energy patterns.
Can you just explain what you mean by the aura?
The aura is the energy field that surrounds a human body.
And what's its purpose?
What's its purpose?
What does it do?
Well, if you were to think about somebody that you know, a person, what they're like and what you love about them, and if they were a dead body, that thing would be gone. That would be in their aura.
Sorry, just explain that.
I don't suppose you see many dead bodies.
No, I have seen one or two, but not. No.
Or if you had a dead animal.
Yes.
The whole character or the nature of the person, the thing that you love in the person that animates them.
Yes.
That animates them.
Yes.
Is all in their aura. It's like the aura has several layers. There's the obviously it's the physical body has its own energy when you're alive, but your nature, it comes through the soul, spirit, which comes direct from creation or whatever you like to call it, and then it expresses through kind of different layers of energy, like feelings and mind and through into the physical. So it's a kind of transforming system in a way where it's like a kind of thing where you might have an idea, and then the idea kind of comes into your heart and your feelings, and eventually you begin to express it in a material form. And so the end result is a process, and something passes through.